Sweet Baby Inc. staff throw tantrum after Steam curator list created to track warn players against their work. I'm sorry, where's the story here? Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to the GNRO Minicast. I am your host, Adam Mickelson, aka Drak. I hope everybody's having an awesome day or night when you're listening to this, and this story once again comes to us from Bounding Into Comics.com, with this time Ryan Pearson taking on the story, and this is probably going to be my only, unless there are any major developments, only video on the Sweet Baby Inc. situation. I know that it's been very on fire the last couple of weeks, especially with the gaming press and everybody that's just so smart on social media trying to make it the second Gamergate, but there really isn't a whole lot that I can contribute to it other than what you're about to find out in this story. So let's get into it, shall we? Despite building an entire business on forcefully injecting identity politics into video games, employees of the inclusion-focused narrative consultation company Sweet Baby Inc. are absolutely livid that a Steam user has begun taking steps to ensure the public knows exactly which specific titles they've worked on. And I'm just going to go ahead and sum this up. Like, we're talking about the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam group, but ultimately, you want to know what people like Sweet Baby Inc. have been working on? Pretty much every AAA game that's out there. I solved that all for you, and it didn't take that long. A self-described inclusion-focused narrative and consultation company. Wow, yeah. Sweet Baby Inc.'s main objective is to review and edit a given video script through the lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that's working so well in current day Hollywood and totally in the video game industry, right? They're not having any blowback from that whatsoever, right? Right? Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. Too bad you sucked at both, writes the company on their official website. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone, except you did none of that. Good job, Sweet Baby Inc. We believe that representation is key to connecting. No, what you believe is characters that are so hollow that everything that's important about them is either their skin color or who they bang. That's your key right there. Not representation, that's your key. And it's connecting players and audiences, and we offer a few ways to help our team and project gain the perspective needed to make it happen. No, you don't. Their mission statement continues. We're part of an inclusive and knowledgeable community of diverse consultants. Except they're not diverse, because I'm guaranteeing you there's one race that isn't part of that. Of diverse consultants, able to cover a wide range of cultural and sensitivity topics, our approach leads with the creation of joy in marginalized players. Yeah, sure, whatever. And seeks to be additive rather than strictly corrective. Except the funniest thing about that is the second that this group came out, and you guys started screaming racism and sexism, we then found out that the creator of the group was Brazilian. Ooh. Most notably, Sweet Baby Inc. have provided sensitivity reading for Alan Wake 2, from what I understand. Not a lot of people like that story. And Goodbye Volcano High. Oh, the game that nobody liked at E3? Yeah, good job there, Sweet Baby Inc. Narrative and character consultation with a focus on representation for God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, from what I can tell, they are the sole reason that Angerboda is black. And, well, I mean, I can't really argue it, but she doesn't really have a whole lot going for her. I gotta say that much. But I haven't finished the game yet, so who knows? Maybe things will change. I kind of doubt it. Story consultation for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I've already heard about that ending. Didn't really work out so well for you, did it? And script writing duties. Oh, they don't have script writing duties, except they have script writing duties, including cutscenes and banter for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Oh, you got some real successes there, buddies. They have also provided unspecified support to Xbox Game Studios, EA, Valve, Santa Monica Studio, 2K, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Warner Brothers Games, Wizards of the Coast, and more. I'm guaranteeing you Blizzard's also on that list. In light of both their self-declared mission and the many questionable narrative decisions seen in the games they've worked on, such as the race swapping of the Norse god Angerboda in God of War Ragnarok, or pretty much every piece of dialogue in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Wow, I actually want to hear from all the people on that particular line that they gave me all the interesting advice from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League that basically made me go from, well, maybe if I get a minute, I'll probably play it, to I don't think I'm gonna play it. I think I'll just let that thing die in its own proverbial juices. Recent years have seen Sweet Baby Inc. come to be seen as a key player in the Western video game industry's ongoing deferences to ESG and DEI philosophies. Which has worked out so well, so much so that I loved at the DICE Awards, we kept on hearing about all the layoffs of game devs and stop effing firing our friends. Except your friends aren't doing a good job and the companies aren't earning money and they deserve to be fired. Oops, did I say that out loud? To this end, the tail end of February 2024 saw an unsatisfied player create a public Steam curator page, which, by the way, he's Brazilian, he's not white, aptly titled Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, with the intent of warning others regarding which titles available on the platform featured the company's handiwork. Alongside marking each relevant title as not recommended, the page also provides proof, often screenshots of the company's own website and tweets of Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement in a given title. And to this, I have to give a major props over to Cabrutus Rambo is his name, who created this list, because he's also inspired others to create other lists that we are now finding out about other consulting firms, very much like Sweet Baby Inc., that have been doing this bullshit in the gaming industry for quite a while now, which is why all your games suck. In fact, I would not be surprised, since so many people love that I have so many problems with FF7 Rebirth, I would not be surprised if companies like Sweet Baby Inc. are the sole reason that we have an ethics department now over at Square Enix. Why? Because we do now, but I'll guarantee that that happened. It also goes to show that for all the people who are screaming in the, and I hate to use the term because it was so cringe then and it's so cringe now, but in the original Gamergate, that were basically thinking that you won and the dragons were defeated and they were all going broke. Even I, to some extent, did that when I said that I was totally happy that Feminist Frequency by Anita Sarkeesian had gone bankrupt. Even I knew that basically what was going to happen here is that the first Gamergate was their open approach. Now they were going to do everything from behind the scenes. Now they were going to do everything so that they didn't get caught. And that's what basically a lot of Sweet Baby Inc. Detected and the actions from it have basically shown us, is that they basically created consultation firms that have then worked with the AAA gaming industry and have wrecked stories from the inside and have done so secretively, but not so secretively anymore, huh? It's almost like when sunlight gets shown on all of the fester and fungus that your companies provide, we then start to see healing out of it. And the healing is that these organizations are shown for what they are, and we show them as gamers and as fans, actual fans, and more importantly, as customers, what we think of that. And we actually do even get a screenshot from Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. I also, one of the compliments that I especially will give here is that we found out that Anita Sarkeesian has also been doing private consulting, which I already knew the second that I'd heard that she'd done any consulting for Naughty Dog Inc. And that's why I continue to make fun of Neil Druckmann for being her personal cuckold, because that's what he is. He had her over there, she spouted all of her nonsense, and he just was attached. But we'll be getting to him very soon, don't you worry. And the screenshot that I actually have up right now is just showing all of the games that Sweet Baby Inc. Detected has shown that they are involved in, and specifically the ones being shown on it are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so you know that they were part of that, and Gotham Knights, which I've also heard is yet another Batman-based game to avoid because it has crappy-ass story too. So I don't even know enough about NeoCab or Afterlove, but I can already tell you, just given off the titles and what I'm seeing right here, I would probably never pick these games up. I probably wouldn't even watch a trailer. So good on you, Sweet Baby Inc. Your interest or your investment in the company or the game at all has killed whatever interest I might have had. Despite this list being curated both based on publicly available information and with an intent to warn consumers no different than those at the heart of similar Steam curator pages, which bring attention to instances of censorship or de novo DRM, the fact that it's centered on their work specifically led to a public outcry over its existence from Sweet Baby Inc. employees, aka they got caught and immediately wanted to deflect all of the bad attention that they were getting. The first was consultant Maya Felix Kramer, or as we know her, Lego Butts on Twitter, who voiced his objection to the page amidst a Twitter thread decrying the recent speculation that audiences' rejection of DEI initiatives have played some part in the ongoing wave of video game industry layoffs. Spoiler, they absolutely have, and it's you guys' fault. Bottom line, not just Sweet Baby Inc. The AAA gaming industry is responsible for this because they listen to your bullshit. They had you in the first place, and then they listened to you, and then they had their games fail. And now we can see it how well they're doing because of your advice, aren't we? I get to see a lot of tweets somehow blaming diversity as the reason for layoffs, genuinely, as if the economy was doing really great and capitalism simply worked before Miles Morales was Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Miles Morales, not Spider-Man. They also don't recognize Miles Morales as Spider-Man. Because they always have to mention that, right? Began Kramer, whose work history also includes stints as a PR manager for Gamergate instigator Zoe Quinn. That's the other thing that's very funny about a lot of this stuff. They all worked together. They all worked together at Feminist Frequency. They either worked together or they knew each other, and they started pulling out their exact same bullshit even when they separated. And I love that she was were you just curious, Lego Butts, were you a PR manager when one of the boyfriends of Zoe Quinn decided to kill himself? And even his sister separated herself from? Were you the PR manager then? Because I have no problem telling you, you sucked at it. And an employee of Silver String Media, which I believe is the connection for all of them. I believe Zoe and Anita all worked there. It's bullshit, which notably once served infamous feminist gaming critic Anita Sarkeesian. And we even have the tweet here so you guys can see it. I'll put it up on the screen while I'm reading it in retrospect. So here's the next one. The weirdest part is when I see these takes from developers or people who have dev bios at least. She then passively aggressively asserted, because she can't do anything else. I don't know, it seems wild that a dev would see thousands of layoffs and blame not the industry giants, but instead a 15-person narrative company founded by a black woman. Oh, we're blaming both of you. Don't get that wrong, Lego Butts. Sorry, Felix, don't get me wrong. We're blaming, or sorry, you were Maya first, I believe. I'll get that right, I promise, at some point, maybe, if you deserve that. But you're getting this wrong. We're blaming both of them. We're blaming you, and we're blaming AAA for listening to you and buying your bill of goods, or your swampland in Florida, or your snake oil, because none of it worked. And games aren't selling the way that they should. And the funniest thing is, for some reason, gaming budgets are going up, when in reality, they should be focused on making better games with better stories. But no, they have people like you in their ear being a cancerous tumor telling them that no, representation's the problem, except the representation that you want to provide is soulless and hollow. These people, gee, I wonder who these people are that she's referring to. Have you noticed that a very racist tendency is to hear these people or those people? It's almost like the people who are crying racist are racist themselves. These people think a company of narrative designers that freelances on projects has somehow single-handedly caused the employment collapse in games, instead of, the insane notion of infinite growth or capitalist greed. It's easier to blame diversity than that. No, we're not blaming diversity, we're blaming stupidity. Okay? This is not diversity, because there would be diversity of thought in here. No, it's all pretty uniform. It's all pretty hive mind, and it's all idiotic. So that's why we're blaming both of you. We're blaming the AAA industry for listening to your dumb ass, and we're blaming you for doing things the way that you did behind the scenes. It's almost like if this was a much more well-meaning movement, it would be out in the open. Except when it was out in the open, you were getting called on your bullshit and you cried victim just like you have so many times before. I still think it's way more likely that they know that's not the case and are just fine with looking stupid so long. Oh, you have a problem with looking stupid. I have no problem telling you that. So long as it justifies them being loudly anti-woke, whatever that means. We all know what it means. Says the actual racist, and I believe this is the person, it may not be, this is the person who refuses and is not comfortable with working with white people. Oh, but that's okay, because it's not racist to be hateful against white people. Clearly, these people have not learned from history because they are exercising the exact same mental justification loops that Adolf Hitler exercised when he tried to get the German public to hate the Jews. I am not even kidding. He tried to get Gina Carano told you this years ago, people. They tried to get you to hate people based on a generality. That's all they did. They just sat there and said, oh, well, the Jews are the cause of the problems that all of us face. And they tried to get you to overall demonize that which they hated and make it acceptable to hate them. That is what these people do on a regular, everyday basis with white people, with people who do not believe in their pronouns, identity, whatever. They will continue to do so, and they will continue to look retarded for doing so. The other part of this is that this doesn't matter if you tell them the truth. You're not telling us the truth, and we know you aren't. Especially when you sit there and cry out, I'm getting death threats, and then people ask, okay, show us the death threat. And you immediately skip over them, and it's almost as if you don't have a death threat to show. I actually would encourage people, I don't really encourage people to do this stuff. You are individuals, you can make your own decision, but the second you see any of those people, especially because I'm actually using it too, but I'm using it in the context of these are stupid people. When you see these stupid people on Twitter saying that they're getting death threats, you ought to respond with 4 simple words. 5 words. Pics or it didn't happen. It's that simple. I'm using internet culture to fix the problem. Pics or it didn't happen. Fighting misinformation. Oh, wait, did I skip one? Yeah, if you tell them the truth, they think DEI just steps in and changes whole games. No, it's a subtle process, and we've never acknowledged that it just changes things overall, but the changes that you make have lasting effects to the overall story, and that's what we get pissed off about. That creators are forced by some unseen hand. Well, we want to play these games. I completely agree with you there that we're not forced to play your games. In fact, we should probably not buy your games a lot more often. I would not be surprised if I looked at her average amount of time on Twitter, it would be easily 18 to 20 hours a day. Fighting misinformation would be great, but social media plus YouTube is not equipped to hold people accountable to doing real research in good faith. It's not equipped to hold people accountable? Talk to Gerard Khalil about that. Because Carl Jobst has held Gerard Khalil accountable. So much so that he has basically gone into his little hidey hole, probably because of his lawyer's advice, over the charity situation that's going on with his family. Yes, social media and YouTube is capable of holding people accountable, but what you want them to hold them accountable for are baseless charges and accusations. That's the problem. And she continues to bluster, just getting hits and proving their point in the absence of confirmation. There's confirmation everywhere, lady! Dude, it's wild out there. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Everything has changed, except now we see you for who you actually are. That's one of the things I really do like about this Sweet Baby Inc. situation, is that people remember the original GG and remember how stupid it was and are looking at this with the equal amount of cringe, and justifiably so. Offering a sarcastic caveat to her previous statement, Kramer next declared, "Sorry, no one thing has changed." A lot of things have changed. The number of people who understand that spreading misinformation just lets them be racist in public with no consequence has increased dramatically. I know, you're on Twitter all the time. I don't know how you continue to be on Twitter. That has changed. Probably requires some fighting from those with authority. Oh, look, she wants government involved. Of course they want government involved. Hooray! Government solves everything, right? Yeah, I'm sure it does. Finally getting to the Steam curator page. Wow, it took her how many tweets at this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tweets before she finally got to Sweet Baby Inc. detected. For example, Steam doesn't have guidelines for curators, as far as I can tell, that would prevent someone from starting a curation group that focuses on, say, Sweet Baby Inc. and warns people not to buy games they're associated with, which could just list any game at all. I mean, yeah, it could list any game, but the games that they're listing are from your website. I've done my own homework on this, boys and girls, and everything that's been listed is public information, or has been made public because you and fellow games journalists decided to be dumbasses and out yourselves. What this is, boys and girls, is a genuine mask-off moment. How many people remember the nostalgia chick and her mask-off moment? Are you getting reminders of that? You should be, because that's what this is. Unfortunately for the consultant, rather than support of the internet's most self-important authoritarians, her alarmist concern instead drew the attention of Twitter community's notes team, who in response to the above tweet revealed that not only did the Steam curator page avoid the issue of false association by citing Sweet Baby Inc.'s own public work listings, but she was also an employee of the very company she was running to defend, almost like she has a vested interest in defending it. Uh-ohs. Somebody got caught again. And we even have the, I'll put the tweet up as well for the curator. Yes. So, good job, Twitterman X on this one. However, rather than admit to her misunderstanding of the situation, Kramer instead responded to the community note by protesting, "It's pretty funny to see a note on my Steam curator post. I guess they need to defend themselves because they're completely wrong about everything Sweet Baby or any narrative team does and have no interest in finding out." If they're okay, you keep on saying that you're doing nothing wrong, that there's no reason these games are failing because of the story that you're helping them work on. Why is it such a big, I hate to be the guy to ask the question, but if you're not the problem, why is it such a big deal that it's being brought out to the light of day? Wouldn't you feel exonerated, maybe even vindicated by this? And you seem more offended by it. It's almost like you're a toddler and you just got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. What I'm basically saying is she's not doing anything to help her cause, now is she? And I keep on saying she, I really should start saying he or it. I don't know why I'm giving you respect, you don't deserve any. Next up was Sweet Baby Inc. writer Chris Kindred. Now I know this asshole, and he's going to be showing up later, who took a more direct approach to expressing his anger, her anger, its anger. We'll just go with it at this point, because I'm not doing this to be a phobe or whatever. I'm doing this because you haven't earned the respect in order for me to refer to you properly. You haven't earned it. When you earn it, I'll consider it. By directly calling for his followers to engage in a mass reporting campaign against the list. Gee, it's almost like this is another weapon that they go to, isn't it? All the GG people went to this as well. The Steam curator harassment group Sweet Baby Inc. Detected is led by this person, Gabrutus Rambo, who laughed at this appropriately. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported, even with the discriminatory language filed off. The group itself still fails the code of conduct. Well, Steam didn't see it that way because it's still up and 300,000 strong, I think. Good job there, Chrissy boy. Or Chrissy Poo. In the screenshots shared by Kindred, Cabrutus Rambo can be seen allegedly confirming that he started the list to make people aware of those who try to corrupt our beloved hobby. Oh, noble goal. And declaring his intent to use more neutral language in order to avoid any bans or reports. Wow, he was way more patient than I would have been. And we even have all of the tweets as evidence. He further called on his followers to report the creator since he loves his account so much. Instead of just letting him have his moment in the sun or being an open public square of diverse thought, no, shut him down. This person, and I even remember seeing them say this, that he was a racist, white bigot or whatever, and then it got confirmed that, oh, by the way, he was from Brazil, which, again, would make him Hispanic. It's almost like you didn't do, I had to put a Sans laugh in there. It's almost like you didn't do your homework. However, since beating his chest so publicly, Kindred has both deleted all of his above tweets on the topic and set his account to private. He did unprivate it, but that'll come later, boys and girls. The official Sweet Baby Inc. Twitter account has also locked their account, almost like they were losing in the public square, and they didn't like it. As for the Steam Curator group, a Streisand effect resulting from Kramer and Kindred's efforts has led its membership to increase from 9,200 followers on February 29th to 68,000. And just because I want to be able to give this guy the proper credit, let's see how much he has right now. He is currently sitting at almost 300,000. I was wrong. 282,186 followers on this. Well, they're all just racists, right? And just to give you guys as an example, just some of the other games that were announced on Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance was a big game that got announced in that one. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. I don't know why it's in the list now, or it's not in the list now, but God of War Ragnarok was part of it. Spider-Man 2 as well. Oh yeah, these are all of them, but some of them aren't showing up anymore. Probably because enough people bitched about it. Goodbye Volcano High, because that worked out so well at E3, so much so that if it's released, then it is released and it's significantly marked down from what it actually was. Good job there. Yeah, congratulations to Gabrutus Rambo, by the way, because you're doing really good with this curation list, and so much so that you've inspired others to do this with the other companies, and I couldn't be more happy about it. The attention has also done little to perturb the curator himself. Gabrutus Rambo's recent days have seen him retweeting memes, embracing the name Krampus Rambo. Good job, man. Thanks to YouTuber Asmongold. I wish it would have come from somebody else. And boasting about having received a block from Kindred. Oh, poor baby couldn't deal with the naughty all of the words that hurt their fifis. Gabrutus Rambo also thanked those who showed him support. And I've actually seen him do this a number of places, including the Side Scrollers podcast, so I'm very happy about it. But this is the quote for it. Man, I was almost forgetting how much fun the internet can be. Thanks everybody for all the messages and support. Let's put the keys of the gaming industry back in the players' hands. I'm gonna say this, Gabrutus Rambo, please change that to being in the customer's hands, because we need to stop to people like this, both the industry as well as advisors of the industry or narrative consultation or whatever they want to call themselves. We need to stop calling ourselves fans. We need to stop calling ourselves players. We need to stop calling ourselves gamers. We need to start calling ourselves what we are to them, which is customers. We are your customers. You are not servicing us, and therefore we are taking our business elsewhere. Hopefully that makes sense to people. The reason I'm not really going to do too much on the Sweet Baby Inc. situation, because first of all, it's on fire with all of the major people talking about it. And frankly, I'm not throwing any kind of salt at anybody who's covering it. But as far as I'm concerned, I've been dealing with this bullshit for years, and I'm sick and tired of having to deal with it. And my answer is what basically everybody should be doing. And I compliment the YouTuber Razorfist for it, which is that we shouldn't be responding so much with revolt or revulsion rather, or with any kind of disgust. We should be responding to them with apathy. I have one game that I have bought this year, and it is technically a game from last year that I purchased, which was, you guys will find out very soon, it's Street Fighter 6. I did purchase it, but I purchased it 7 to 8 months later. Primarily because I didn't want to support them when they were initially looking at those numbers, and also because of some of the other controversies that were falling around Street Fighter 6 at the time. I am currently playing Street Fighter 6. Do I enjoy it? Yes and no. There are some issues that I have, and maybe if I do some kind of impromptu review with it, I'll go into those. But mostly, when it comes to the AAA gaming industry, I'm not paying any money for anything that they want me to pay for. I am not their pay pig. I am sick and tired of the narrative decisions that they are making, and therefore refuse to buy what they are selling to me. That is why a lot of my money over the last 2 to 3, even 5 years has gone more towards the indie gaming industry than it has to the AAA gaming industry. Because the indie game devs are more interested in giving me a game that is fueled by passion, that is fueled by a good story, that is fueled by good graphics, good gameplay, all of the things that Sweet Baby Inc. does not care about. And that's how I've decided to act with it. To all the people that are brand spanking new to this, I have nothing else to say to you other than welcome to the club. Here's the t-shirt. Now, what are you going to do about it? Because frankly, as a customer, if you're not happy with what these companies are doing and the fact that they're hiring companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to write their games or to consult on them, as far as I'm concerned, they're just as much a part of the writing team, because in their own words, if you don't make them a part of the writing team, if you don't cater to their whims, all they have to do is go complain to your HR, go complain to your marketing department, and give them the worst horror story imaginable if they don't follow your quote advice. And then they're in. Then you can't get rid of them. It doesn't even matter. I would love to know how many of these consultants Katsuhiro Harada, the creator of Tekken, heard and then promptly ignored when he issued the designs for female characters in particular, for Tekken 8. I'd love to be able to know that, because at that point, Harada is a fucking hero in the AAA gaming industry, especially to customers, and people should be buying Tekken 8 more. And this is coming from a guy who, I am a Tekken fan. Am I the most diehard of Tekken fan? No, but I am looking at Tekken 8. It's probably one of the more interesting Tekken games for a long time. I really wasn't a big fan of the PS2 era of Tekken. So at that point, I played a little bit of 7, and I would love to be able to get back into 8. And part of the reason is because of how Harada is handling a lot of the censorship and DEI bullshit that he sees around him. In fact, Harada put Tifa in the game as a guest character, but put her as she was intended, as Sakaguchi intended, not as Nomura intended. Let her big boobs be there, let her big butt be there, and let everybody cry and cringe that's gonna cry and cringe about it, because they're not the ones who are going to buy the DLC. The people who are going to buy the DLC are fans, actual fans, and customers. And they will come and support you in droves, not the people who support Sweet Baby Inc. Those people in particular, those stupid people, they aren't gamers, they're not fans, they're not geeks, they're trend followers. That's all they are. They're parasites. And their mental retardation and illness is beginning to get on my fucking nerves. They should not have this level of power, and unfortunately, we, as the gamers, gave them that power, and we shouldn't have done that, and now we need to be more responsible in that regard. And one of the reasons I'm saying that we have to start calling ourselves customers is because this is how the company should look at us, not the way they have branded us, which is by basically taking what black people did with the N-word and making it their word. That's what they're doing. They're trying to make gamer a bad word. So I've got a great idea. Let's bring back the word that matters the most to a business: the customer. That's simple. My thoughts are, welcome to the party, pal. The Die Hard meme says it all. Welcome to the party. Now, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna support Cabrutus Rambo and all of those other people that are saying that this is just as stupid as it is? Or are you going to go back to sleep like most normies are because they look at this and go, ugh? Now, granted, that's a justified response. I totally agree with you on that. Or you could do my response, which is just simply give the gaming industry what they deserve. Go and support the game devs that actually care about you, that care about your money, that care about you as a fan and want to retain you as such. Which will you do? And on that, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. And to all the people that are going to join in the comments about how far right I am and whatever, go ahead and bring your retardation. You're going to be just duly ignored like you are on most of the mini-casts that I put on. But that'll go ahead and do it for here. So if you're brand spanking new and liked what I had to say, feel free to leave a like. I really do appreciate that. If you want to extend the conversation, feel free to do so in the comments section. Just keep in mind, you are not entitled to a response. So if I think what you said is stupid, I might not respond. And also, if you would consider subscribing to the channel, it does help us out with the algorithm and basically making it known to YouTube that, you know, people like me aren't necessarily a bad thing. They actually can kind of help the ecosystem just a little bit. And of course, I will be back next time for the next GNRO Minicast. And also special thanks to Bounding Into Comics and Ryan Pearson for the article. Will I cover additional Sweet Baby Inc. stories? They would have to have some major changes in the situation for me to want to cover it again, because this is where I'm at. I don't care. The gaming industry has written their own death certificate as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not really paying attention. But if there are any major developments, or if you guys want more coverage of it, feel free to ask for it, and I'll see what I can do. But until then, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next story, and we'll see you guys then.